Activity 7.6, page 76 of your textbooks, please, and page 48 in your accounting books. So as we can see here, just by looking at this in our accounting books quickly, this is what we call a debtors list or a debtors schedule. We can see there that we've got debtors, W Dube, Isimpiwe, and W Tsokane. So now it's saying invoice. In which journal do we record my invoices? Okay, invoices or credit sales would come from my debtors journal, my DJ. And then receipts or payments received from the debtor would come from my CRJ. Okay, so that's a nice way for you guys to remember when working this out. And when we do this, if it's coming from the DJ, add it to the debtors account because they purchased more trading stock from my business on credit, which means that they owe me more money. And if I receive a payment from them, that means that they have now paid me and they now owe me less money. Remember, I am receiving money from a debtor. So even though I'm using the word payments, do not think that it must now go to my CPJ. We always look at accounting from the business's point of view. I am receiving a payment. So if I am receiving a payment from a debtor, that means it goes to my CRJ, which means that they owe me less money. So let's have a quick look here at W Dube. We can see that this is obviously still Pestana Traders, and we can see here W Dube 944 Rand increasing. So if we go look up here at activity 7.4, we can see there W Dube 944. Sorry, I don't have any highlighters, so I'm having to use chalk. So W Dube over here, we can see that he bought goods for 944 Rand. So now if we go down here, we can see W Dube plus 944. Then plus 230. Why plus 230? Because he purchased goods on credit once again, W Dube, and it is in the DJ, so his account is going to be increasing by 230 Rand. Now, why would W Dube's account be decreasing by 547? Well, that means that I received money from the debtor. So here we can see W Dube, and it's in my debtors control column. It has to appear in your debtors control column in order for it to go here in your debtors list. Minus 574. So we can see now if we work out all those numbers, my debtor W Dube now owes me 600 Rand. Okay, so that is what his account is still sitting at. He owes me 600 Rand. Okay, I'm going to do Isimpiwe with you. So first what I'm going to do, just to keep things simple, I'm going to go and look at all my journals, and I'm going to highlight everywhere where I see Isimpiwe's name. So then my debtors, that shows that he bought goods on credit for 1,440 in June. And then here in July, he appears again. Isimpiwe 550. And then here in my CRJ in July, 1,200 Rand appear in my debtors control column. Isimpiwe, otherwise, I could have been receiving some money from Isimpiwe for something else. For example, maybe he also rents a building from me. So maybe I could be receiving rent income from him. So always check that the person's name and that it appears in debtors control. All right. So let's go and have a look at this. Isimpiwe. On the 9th of June, it's coming from my DJ, 1,440. So in other words, his account, if it's coming from my DJ, needs to increase by 1,440 Rand. Okay, then in July, we can see over there, once again, in my debtors journal, so his account needs to increase by 550 because he owes me that money. He's taken the trading stock and he hasn't paid for it. How do I know that? Well, because it's in my debtors journal, and a debtors journal is where we record credit sales. Okay, then we've got here in my CRJ, Isimpiwe, I received 1,200 Rand from him, which means that his account is now going to, be decreasing by 1,200 Rand. So just add that in there. Then we can get out our calculators, 1,440 plus 550 minus what we received from him, which is 1,200 Rand, and his account is now sitting at 790 Rand. Okay, that's Isimpiwe. I want you to do the same for W Tokane. So I'm going to ask if this can please be homework for the 4th of June. So that's in a week's time. Please do the same for W Tokane, and then please also answer the 3 questions on page 76 in your textbooks. Also homework for the 4th of June. Okay, those 3 questions is basically analyzing and interpreting the accounts. So basically the same as what we did here in activity 7.3. You now have to do the same for these guys. All right. So check their monthly limit, which is on page 75 over here. And then use this to check, did they stay within their accounts limits? Did they pay on time? So how were their accounts managed? All right. Then I'm also going to ask you, please, to do activity 7.7 for homework. I'll start the first few with you, and then you can continue by yourself, please. Activity 7.7, which is also going to be homework for the 4th of June. Sorry, you guys are going to get quite a bit of work now for the 4th of June. But it's small activities, and you have lots of days to do it. All right, and I'm doing half of it with you. Right, please take note of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going down, not horizontally. Okay, number 1 is credit. Okay, so this is on page 77 in your textbooks. So let's see if we can match the columns here. Credit. To allow someone credit, source document issued, how much time a client has, postponed payment, the Rand value that a client can spend or buy for, subsidiary journal, discourages reckless lending, current assets, subsidiary journal, source documents. Okay, so I would say that granting credit is one of these. Which ones would you say it is? I would say that it is D, a postponed payment. Credit is D. Number 1 is D, a postponed payment. Number 2, the National Credit Act. National Credit Act is I would say the answer there is G. Discourages reckless lending. G. Discourages reckless lending. Number 3 is debtors. I would say the answer there is debtors. H. Debtors are current assets. H. Number 4, cash receipts journal. Okay, cash receipts journal is a subsidiary journal. Okay, but there's also subsidiary journal for the sales to debtors. No. Subsidiary journal for receipts of a debtor. Yeah, because we record money received by debtor in my CRJ. So number 4, CRJ, I would say is F. And then our last one that I'm going to do with you is number 5, original invoice, source document issued to a debtor for goods sold. Number 5 is original invoice. That is the source document issued to a debtor for goods sold. Remember, the original invoice is given to the customer and the duplicate is kept by the business. Okay, so please, number 6 to 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is please to be done for the 4th of June. Okay, then also homework for the 4th of June, please, is activity 7.8. Number 1, please take note that you must turn to page 50 for the CRJ. And then I want you to attempt the schedule of debtors accounts. So it's the same thing that what we did on page 48, except there's now opening balances. So try and work that out on your own. Give it a try. And then I'll go through it with you next week when we mark it. Okay, remember, opening balances is what they started with at the beginning of the month. So in other words, what they owe me from the previous month. Okay, so this is also needs to be completed. Please give this a try, grade 9s. I know that this is something that you may not be familiar with, but it is work that we have been doing. It's just being asked in a different way. So this is asking for the total sales in our DJ. So in other words, the total amount of sales over here. And then the total payments by debtors, CRJ, that will be over here. Your debtors control total over here. So this is also, this is the CRJ for activity 7.8, and this is due for the 4th of June. And then last but not least, sorry, I know this is quite a lot of work, but you do have a lot of time to complete it. Homework for 4th of June, this is basically just saying which journal these will go to. There are 20 here. I will do the first 10 with you, and then you can do the last 10 by yourself. Okay, so it's half-half. Receipt issued, so it says read the keywords which would form part of a transaction and decide in which journal each entry would appear. You must be able to distinguish between DJ, credit sales, DAJ, credit returns. I know we haven't focused on a DAJ journal, but this is an intro into my next lesson. So DAJ is for when a customer returns any goods or if there's any allowance given. CRJ and then the CPJ, which you should be familiar with. So keywords, receipt issued. If I issued a receipt, that means it's going to my CRJ. Paid debt to the business. So someone paid their debt to us, the business, which means that we have received money. So that must go to my CRJ. Cashed a check. So cashed a check, that is going to be my CPJ. Issued an invoice. That is credit sales, so it's going to my DJ. Payment or check issued, that's CPJ. Purchased goods and paid, CPJ. Client returned goods not according to sample. So in other words, the client returned the goods because they were not what they ordered. This is going to go to a new journal called my DAJ, Debtors Allowance Journal. Paid by check, that is my CPJ. Cash sales according to the cash register roll. Okay, grade 9s, you have to differentiate between cash sales and credit sales. Cash sales means that the goods was taken from my business and that I received the money immediately. Okay, so that is my CRJ. CRR, sales. Enter it into the sales column, enter it into the cost of sales. Don't forget about that. Merchandise sold on credit. So now we did a credit sales, and that must go to my DJ. Right, grade 9s. So the rest of this, please, needs to be completed. Number 11 up to 20 needs to be completed by the 4th of June. So please make sure that that is completed. The extension activity on page 51 I will do with you at a later stage, so don't worry about that for the time being. However, I am going to allocate this term revision, term 2 topic, which is due for the 8th of June. So that is page 53 to 55. I'm allocating it now. You have over 2 weeks to do